School kids get bullied for all kinds of reasons, and these days that includes politics. WGBH's Stephanie Lydon has exclusive details on an online incident in Newton that is drawing widespread condemnation, and it's also raising questions about what it means to be a Trump supporter in an overwhelmingly liberal community.
To get a sense of the political winds in Newton, consider this. Nearly 80% of voters here supported Hillary Clinton.
I, Donald John Trump.
So no surprise, on the day Donald Trump took office, Joe Urquiola and his buddy Cam Freeman were among a small minority of students at Newton North High School celebrating.
We had a couple hats, shirts, and then we had a flag, too.
This photo ended up online. Then another version appeared on Instagram with obscenities photoshopped above the boys' heads. Joe Urquiola, who is Jewish, was labeled a Nazi.
I know most people in my city don't like Trump, but I didn't know people looked at me that way, that with the nasty words and things they put about me on there.
What was your reaction when you saw this photo?
I was very angry. I contacted the school. I wrote a barrage of emails.
The principal responded by sending a letter to Newton North parents saying, quote, "Such posts will not be tolerated." But Ed Urquiola thinks the school should have done more, as they did last September when someone drove past Newton North waving a Confederate flag.
The entire school had to go to re-education when they drove around with the Confederate flag, which, is an ignorant act, I agree. But it wasn't targeted at anybody. It wasn't pointing at a Jewish kid saying you're a Nazi because you voted for Trump.
It's very difficult to compare one incident to another.
Robert Treston is with the Anti-Defamation League and says the letter home indicates the school took the Photoshop incident seriously. He says his office offered advice in this case and has been working with schools in other communities amid a dramatic uptick in similar incidents.
Many people are using all sorts of analogies, particularly Holocaust and Nazi analogies, and not everyone, including many young people, really have the appropriate context.
But Ed Urquiola thinks the word choice used to target his son reflects a widely held view of President Trump.
If you really believe that he's a Nazi and I support him, then, what are you going to think of me? So that I feel that here.
Those are fighting words in a city that prides itself on being both tolerant and welcoming.
I disavow the idea that there is some kind of undercurrent in Newton that because you voted for Trump, you're not welcome to live here, that I don't want my kids playing with your kids.
Sean Fitzgibbons chairs the Newton Democrats and says while opposition to the president is strong.
These are kids, so it's bullying. It's something that is not normal.
But these kids say something's changed in their hometown.
That's not a good feeling when there's people that, hate you or don't want to be your friend, that don't even know you at all.
Stephanie Lydon joins me. That's a horrible, horrible story. Other than this Photoshop picture thing, have there been any other retaliation or bullying because of their political views?
Well, these two boys that I talked with say they do, ever since they started wearing Trump gear to school, people say things in the hall. There's been a little bit of physical pushing, not a lot. It's mostly been this sort of attitude of disdain.
Anybody punished for any of this?
The schools won't comment. The boys say yes, that the person responsible was punished. Interestingly, though, a lot of kids commented online in support of this photoshopped photo, and they're upset about that because, there was a fair number of people.
What's doubly shocking about the story, and you made this clear, is not only that this happens to somebody because they support a candidate, but in Newton. And what makes it worse, this is not aberrational. I did a segment last year. There was anti-black behavior on Black Culture Day. There was anti-Semitism at some middle school. So this is not out of the norm, sadly.
The Anti-Defamation League says there has been an uptick in these kinds of incidents. And sort of with that is the language. And the head of the Anti-Defamation League said, well, consider the language we're hearing in public now. And that's being repeated in the media, and it's filtering down to the level of people talking to one another.
Also good for those kids to have the courage to come on, because I'm not sure I wouldn't have hidden out if I had been the subject of that kind of bullying.
They wanted to talk. They wanted to share their point of view. They feel they have not had the opportunity to express themselves and to explain themselves.
I'm glad. Great reporting and great story. And Stephanie, thank you so much.
Jim.
Stephanie Lydon.